Good morning. Good morning. Happy Valentine's Day. I pray that you're having a beautiful, beautiful morning. I know that I am, and I'm so excited because I want to discuss your own kind of love, or what we as women can do to practice self-love. And so that's what we're talking about this morning. So thank you so much for joining me. The first thing I want to make clear is that self-love is not selfish love. Self-love is not selfish love. It's not a selfish act. The world teaches us how to be good at this and how to be good at that, but no one is teaching us how to love ourselves, because often when you hear the term self-love, it's teamed with things like selfishness and, egotistical thoughts and feelings. And that's not what self-love is. So when a woman genuinely loves herself, it's very important, because if we know how to love ourselves, we'll know what love looks like and feels like coming from someone else. That is so, so good. If you know how to love yourself, to truly love yourself, you're going to know what love looks like and feels like coming from someone else, anyone. And that is so, so, so vital, being women, especially in the times that we're living in, where this term narcissistic and narcissism is being just found and shown and heard everywhere. So it's very important that we as women know how to love ourselves and understand that self-love is okay. Self-love is loving yourself. Self-love, or as I like to call it, reading from my notes, is self-care, because that's what it is. We're caring for ourselves, and it's so difficult to practice because, like I said before, the world compares self-love to selfishness, and it is not that. Self-love is not selfishness, I promise you. And attaching a negative connotation to the word causes feelings of guilt and shame. So we hear the word self-love and it sounds awesome, because it is. But then we hear the words selfish, narcissistic, all of these negative words then attach themselves to the word self-love. And then we get this idea up here that, okay, if I practice self-love, then I'm being selfish. Or I'm thinking my head has gotten way too big. Maybe I'm operating in the energy of my ego instead of in my heart and my soul, my spirit. So we start attaching all of these negative words to self-love, and that stops us from practicing true, genuine, and kind self-love towards ourselves. That ain't cool. That ain't cool. So what does loving yourself look like? When we love ourselves as women, what does loving ourselves look like? What should it look like? Well, for one, we're all different. So it may look a little bit different from this person to that woman, from me to you. But normally there are some similarities, such as we embrace our uniqueness. There's nobody else like us. Woo-hoo. God created one-of-a-kind beings when he created you. The way that he created you, the footprint, the fingerprints, the eyes, the nose, the hair, the lips, the skin tone, everything, skin color, everything. When God created you, he created one beautiful, unique being. So we embrace our uniqueness. We're happy with who we are, right? Because if you love yourself, you're going to be happy with who you are. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. If you love you, you're going to be happy with loving you. And so to me, that's awesome. We're comfortable in our own skin. We're women, and we're comfortable being who we are in our own skin. When you're inside of your house, you're comfortable in your own skin. When you're outside of your house, you're comfortable in your own skin, because you love yourself. And this is key, ladies. This is key. You don't compare yourself to any other woman. Nobody. Nowhere. anywhere on the globe because you don't care. That's not who you are because you love who you are. So if you love who you've been created to be, why would you compare yourself to that woman and this woman and her over there and her over there? Foolishness. That's mess. We don't do that. And so that's very important. We're also honest with ourselves and others. We can speak to ourselves in an honest manner, even if it's the worst thing that we got going on and we're trying to, cover that thing up because we don't want to be honest with ourselves. Because when you're honest with yourself, you love yourself. And if you're being honest with yourself, you're going to improve yourself. You're going to want to improve yourself because you love yourself. So because you love yourself, you are honest with yourself and you're honest with others. Not in a rude way, not in a blunt way, in a kind, loving way, but you're honest. Whether they receive it or not, that's their business. You're honest. You're kind to yourself. When we as women love ourselves, we're kind to ourselves. We're kind to our minds and our hearts and our bodies. Ladies, we're kind to our bodies. That's so important because I'm seeing a whole lot of things where women are doing this and that, and it's taking a toll on their bodies. That's not a good thing, ladies. It's not a good thing. We're not afraid to share the kindness that we have for ourselves with others. I say spread it like confetti. Truly, spread your kindness like confetti. Not irresponsibly, but like confetti, right? So keep in mind that showing kindness to others doesn't make you a pushover. Don't allow yourself to become a pushover because you're trying to operate in the energy of kindness way too much. Be kind, but be stern. Be kind and believe in who you are, because if you believe in who you are, you're not going too far. You're not becoming a people pleaser, but you're kind to yourself and to others. Like I said, it's okay to be firm, but yet gentle. Be firm and gentle with your kindness. Speak to and treat yourself with respect. Ladies, when you love yourself, when you practice self-love, you're going to respect yourself and you're going to demand that respect from everyone else because you respect yourself. That's king. That's king. High morals. It's awesome to have high morals. All of us didn't have those all the time. Been there, done that. Got myself in a whole lot of mess. But praise God for healing and, chastising and release and relief and all kind of great stuff that God does. Because the morals went way up. So ladies, up your morals. It's okay. Admit to yourself, like I said, be truthful with yourself. If those morals are a little bit, shaky in the center, up your morals. It's okay. Promise you, I had to do it. Be aware of your feelings. Self-love is about understanding your feelings, your self. The self has feelings. So understand and be very aware of your feelings. If you don't like something, understand, well, why don't I like something? If something is bothering you, understand, well, why is this bothering me? Why do I feel this way? Forgive yourself. When you love yourself or when we're practicing self-love, we forgive ourselves because we understand that we all make mistakes, right? We're human first. Mistakes are a natural thing. To me, they are teachers. They are life's teachers. They are learning lessons. So be okay and understand that we make mistakes, but in that understanding, also forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for making the mistake. And lastly, ladies, this ties in with those morals. We understand the value of worth. One of my favorite words. in the entire dictionary. We understand the value of worth, and we just don't understand it, right? We believe that we are valuable and worthy. See, we gotta believe it up here in our heart. We gotta believe it. So that's what loving yourself looks like. Like I said, it may be a little different from yourself to how I love myself, but there are major similarities to women who love themselves. And I think they are awesome. So what are some blockades that keep us from loving ourselves? Because there's many. Being women, we're painted to look a certain way, or we have this set image on how we should look, and all of the magazine covers and what's been shown on TV, and one should look this way, and a lady should do this, and shave your legs, and underarms, and all kind of painful stuff, just craziness. So we have a lot of blockades that keep us from truly loving ourselves as women. What are some of those blockades? For one, we're so quick to care for others while refusing to care for ourselves. That's the primary blockade. We're so quick to care for others, but refuse to care for ourselves. How does that even work? Because if you don't care for yourself, you're going to burn out sooner or later caring for others, right? That's why we can't continuously pour ourselves out. We got to fill ourselves up too. That's what self-love is, self-care. You're refilling or refueling yourself. There is nothing selfish about that, ladies. Nothing at all. I truly think we begin caring for others so much because we get a sense of satisfaction from it. And we use this to fill our internal lack of caring for ourselves. That's just my belief. That's what I've seen. That's what I felt. It's just an experience. Things I've seen all around me. So it has to be some truth, major truth to that. And if you agree, please drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Some other blockades are insecurities, doubts, and fears. Ooh, fear. My. Past pains. Feeling unlovable, or empty. We have past traumas attached to us. Been there, done that. Childhood experiences. Me. Rejection. Me, you, whole lot of other women. Abandonment issues. Unhealed hurts and pain. So unforgiveness in the heart and in the mind are some of the blockades. A lack of feeling worthy or feeling unworthy. Ladies, low self-esteem. Low self-esteem. Because if you don't like yourself, if you're not happy with who you are, who you've been created to be, you're going to operate in very low self-esteem. That's not a good thing, ladies. Not a good thing. Using ugly words to describe who you are, or to even talk to yourself silently. That's a blockade of truly loving yourself when you use ugly words to describe who you are, your character, your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings. A lack of trust in yourself and others is a blockade. When you don't trust yourself, you can't trust others. And when you can't trust yourself or trust others, you can't practice genuine self-love because you don't trust yourself. So how can you trust the thought of thinking, well, I think I need to practice self-love or self-care? Then it goes, oh, maybe I don't. No, I better not do that. You don't trust yourself. So start trusting yourself, okay? Sometimes, no, I can't say sometimes. I think this is also one of the number one reasons or one of the number one blockades as to why we as women have a hard time providing self-love to ourselves and self-care, because we determine our worth based upon our outer appearance. Yes, we determine our worth and what we should feel like based upon the way we think we should look or how we look on the outside. I'm not saying not to take care of yourself, not to be in proper shape, not to eat right, but don't base your worth on your outer appearance. That has nothing to do with anything. How you look has nothing to do with your worth. If you're not happy with the way you look on the outside, you're not going to be happy inside. Happy outside, happy inside. If you're happy with the way you look, you're going to normally be happy inside. But if you can't operate in the energy of happiness because you're worried about your outer appearance, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be happy inside. So our outer has nothing to do with our worth. That all starts up here and in here. Nothing to do with outside. And lastly, we're too hard on ourselves. We're striving for perfection instead of greatness. Like I said, the world is teaching us how to be great at this and, how to be great at that. But what about being great at loving yourself? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with loving who you are. So instead of striving for perfection, strive for greatness. Strive for greatness, right? So when we love ourselves, what does that look like? What does it feel like? Well, it feels like a greater sense of joy and happiness. Because when we love ourselves, there's both physical and spiritual advantages that comes with loving ourselves. And some of those include a greater sense of joy and happiness. You're happy. You're joyful because you love who you are. Your beauty shines from within. Remember when I said previously that it's not about the outer? It's about what's going on up here and in here. Your beauty shines from within and then it shows outwardly. See, that's the key. You don't want to start with outward in. You want to start from within and then outward. That's key. You don't mind sharing your shine. Oh, that rhymes. You don't mind sharing your shine. And your soul is nourished, and a nourished soul attracts positivity. When we love who we are, our soul, our spirit, our mind, our body, every inch of us is nourished. It shows, and you attract positivity. You attract great things to you. And that's what we want. We do success our own way, and we're not afraid to show it. So we're passionate about our goals and our hobbies, and we're not afraid to go for it because we believe in ourselves, and believing in ourselves is a part of loving ourselves. Like I said, it's physical, mental, spiritual, emotional soul food for every area of our lives. And honestly, it's like you're on fire. You're hot. That's a great thing to be, on fire. You're fabulous and you know it. You know it. And it's not being conceited or having a big head and all of these other terms people label a confident woman. That's not what it's about. Because you don't have to scream your confidence when you're confident. You know it and the world knows it too. Because you're fabulous. You're on fire. You're hot. And there's nothing wrong with those things. Yes, we can be lovers of God, followers of Christ in the church. That's phenomenal. Don't stop. But it's nothing wrong with being fabulous. It's not conceited. And the greatest thing ever about what self-love feels like is our love for God is great, and it becomes greater and greater because you love his creation. And if you love his creation, you're going to love him. We're thankful. We're thankful for the creation. So my last section of my notes is, okay, we've talked about what does loving ourselves look like, the blockades to loving ourselves. We've talked about what does it feel like. So how do we get there? Well, the first way to get there, to truly get on the scale of loving yourself is understanding the definition of self-love. So let me give that to you. Self-love is defined in the Merriam-Webster dictionary as an appreciation of one's own worth or virtue. Self-love begins when we observe our actions and words with compassion, as if we were our own best friend. Because if you don't treat yourself worthy and with compassion, you're not going to expect for anybody else to treat you worthy and with compassion. It's important. So it also defines it as proper regard for and attention to one's own happiness or well-being. Ladies, this is well-being that we're talking about. This is compassion. This is self-care. Because I can tell you this, if we're going to survive the times that we're in and having all of these people coming at us and doing this and saying this and just mess, we're going to have to practice some real self-love and self-care. Now, self-love is not this. Like, remember when I said the world likes to attach selfishness and conceit with self-love? That is not what self-love is. When a person operates in the energy of narcissism or pride or conceit, that's inflated love. That is not self-love. That has nothing to do with self-care. That's inflated love or pride being displayed. So don't confuse self-love or self-care with inflated love or pride or narcissism or conceit. That is not what it is. And don't let anyone convince you that it is so. Study to show yourself approved. Do your own research. Even based upon what I'm telling you here to do your own research. It is key. It is very important. Okay. So how do we get there? Ladies, how do we get to truly loving ourselves? How do we get there? Excuse me. Well, like I said, we understand that loving ourselves is not egotistical. It is not ungodly, and it is not callous. Loving yourself has nothing to do with your ego. It does have everything to do with God. And it is not callous. Okay. It is not carelessness. Number 2, be happy with the woman you are today. Be happy with who you've been created to be, because you're not anyone else, nor can you be anyone else. We can't be anyone but ourselves. We should be very happy with that. So in essence, embrace who you are. Embrace yourself and be happy with self. Be happy with who you are. Don't judge yourself. Don't do that. Be truthful with yourself and honest. Truthful, honest, same thing, but don't judge yourself. Understand that we all make mistakes. We're human. We all have negative thoughts from time to time, and we doubt ourselves from time to time. Don't stay there, though. Don't stay in that negative energy. Get out of it. As quick as it comes, you tell it to go. Bye. Bye. There's nothing wrong with that. Be stern with those negative thoughts, that negative energy. Because at the end of the day, you control that. Focus on the great things about yourself. So to get to self-love and truly loving yourself or self-care, focus on the great things about yourself. Ask yourself, what makes you great? What makes you great? I can tell you one thing. God created you. I can tell you two things. You are unique in your own way. What you have placed inside you, nobody else has. God gave that to you, right? I can tell you a third thing. You're watching this video. So you're soaking up the beautiful, beautiful, very well researched knowledge that you can use in your alone time, out in the world, anywhere you are. Those are three things that make you great. Embrace loving words. Remember when I mentioned those ugly words? Instead of using ugly words to talk to yourself or to describe yourself, embrace beautiful words. There's nothing wrong with that. Tell yourself, you are beautiful. I am amazing. I am worthy. Talk to yourself. It has nothing to do with being conceited. You are strengthening that love muscle, that self-love muscle, because it weakens over time. Just like our physical muscles weaken if we don't practice, keeping them in shape, our self-love muscle weakens. It's a muscle. We have to keep strengthening that muscle. To do that requires you to talk to yourself with beautiful words, not ugly words. Use positive affirmations to describe yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. And understand that you can't be everything to everybody. So people pleasing is out the door. Because you love yourself. And if you love yourself, you're not trying to please everyone else to gain that satisfaction or to gain that pat on the back. You don't need that. I'm not saying I'm not saying it's okay to never receive recognition or anything like that, but it's not something you need because you know who you are. You know the work God is doing within you and you love yourself. It shows. The world will see it. Practice healthy habits. This is a big one. It's something I'm seeing on a daily basis. Everywhere I go, I look and I see this one thing. Many women, we aren't practicing healthy habits. A lot of women place a lot of their happiness on things like weight, clothing size, etc. Yet we're not practicing healthy habits to get to that healthy weight or that size that we know we should be because it is healthy for our bodies. So a healthy habit would be eating healthy, exercising daily, and practicing discipline. So we got to start practicing healthy habits as women. That's what we do when we love ourselves. And before I end this amazing video, I'm so glad that you all joined me. Before I end, I want to leave you with this. Remember, it's okay to love yourself. It's okay to practice self-love. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to work on who you're becoming because we're all works in progress. None of us are perfect, never will be. Good heavens, who really wants to be perfect, right? Let's strive toward the mark of greatness. That's perfectly okay. Practice being happy on your own. Don't look for others to make you happy because when you operate in the energy of self-love, you're operating in the energy of happiness, joy, love. And lastly, own you. Own who you are. Own who you've been created to be. It's nothing wrong with owning who you've been created to be. To me, that's a beautiful thing. And that's what God wants us to do. He wants us to be these confident vessels who can go out and do his will and his work. But how can we truly do that when we don't love ourselves? When we don't love ourselves, we're doing things halfway. Yeah. So love yourself, practice self-love, healthy habits, and happy Galentine's to you. I pray that your Valentine's Day is wonderful. And just know that I love you. Know that I'm praying for you. I'm definitely praying for you, with you, and I believe in you. So thank you so much for joining me. I love you. Have a beautiful, beautiful, blessed Saturday.